At the
Yeah.
end of this, are we going to email it out?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
All right, y'all. So welcome to Trader Tax Hacks. I'm sure you guys already, most of you all here know Court and Kendra. I'm Shania, so your co-host for the evening. And yeah, we're gonna get into some Trader Tax Hacks. I know you all may be amazing at executing your trades. You guys have amazing leadership and guidance. Now I want you guys to be amazing at also making sure that you guys don't overpay Uncle Sam. The goal is to build long-term wealth, and we build wealth in two ways. Number one, it's always about how much income that we make. Two, it's about how much of that income we can save so that we can go ahead and invest in other areas, whether it's more trades or it's other assets like real estate or it's other businesses. Tax ends up being the largest expense that any of us encounter in our lives. There was a study that said most people spend 50% of their lifetime earnings in taxes, right? It's wild. If you think about it, though, we pay income taxes. You pay capital gains taxes if you're trading. You're also subject to sales tax on certain items that you purchase. If you own a home, you pay like real estate taxes. If you own a truck, you may be paying fuel and consumption taxes. If the tax, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And again, yes, 50% of typical life earnings go to taxes. But you know who don't pay 50% of their earnings in taxes? The people who understand the tax code. And this is why you guys are here today, because we're going to talk about some trader tax hacks. And on that note, we can go ahead and get started.
Success.
That's us. Okay, so who's the
That's
mogul
us,
stock
gang. We
group?
are Mogul Stock Group. Yes, yes. We've been doing this for about 6, 7 years. Kendra's been coding it with me now for almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
Um, Very fast growing community of up and comers. And we're dedicated to just wealth building and education. Our job is to help you make money and to help your children be able to sustain as well a lot of what you guys are doing today and the sacrifices that you're making, right? Because the worst thing that can happen is you guys leave a lump sum of money for your children and they buy Lamborghinis and giraffes, right? And liquidate and right back asking you for money. So we're about family, we're about community and building together. That's me. My job is to simplify the markets, keep things really, really simple and easy, and to give repeatable, actionable steps. You guys know that a lot of what we do throughout the trading session is just things that we do every single day. It doesn't really change much, regardless of what's going on in the market or in the news. And that's where a lot of our edge comes from.
And me, I'm Kendra Nicole, as a lot of you guys know. I am an ex 9 to 5er turned full-time trader and entrepreneur as of the top of the year. I like to simplify trading. I want it to be as easy as possible for everybody that I educate. And my mission and goal in life is to get as many I'm gonna say as many people that look like me. Most of the time, I'm talking about the women because I want more women that look like me to be in the markets. But I want as many people that look like me to have this knowledge and information and allow it to change their life in the way that it's changed mine as well. So that's all about me.
All right. I didn't put an intro star for me here. I just realized, but it's okay. I'll just do a quick one. So I'm Shanae Wilson, aka the People CPA. I am a certified public accountant out of the state of New York. So I'm from the Bronx, New York. So a couple of New Yorkers in here. I've been a CPA for 8 years now. I have a background in public accounting, but decided to take my knowledge and expertise and really bring it to my community. So those people who are building businesses, those people who are gaining access to assets, really those who are new to just creating wealth for themselves. Being a CPA, I take it very serious in regards to how I assist people with building wealth. More importantly, how we help them create wealth more quickly by saving in taxes. So we all have a passion to create wealth, and wealth is not created by accident. It's actually built on such purpose with great intention. It's about, again, how do we make more money, but then also put systems in place to help us maintain that, but then also allow us to be proactive about saving in taxes as well. All right, so today what we're going to do is talk about the tax implications of trading. I'm going to just do a very more quick presentation so that we can have more time for Q&A. I'm sure many of you all have so many questions about taxes because as you are making these trades, you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen with Uncle Sam? I'm going to explain that to you today. And of course, you'll have some time at the end of our webinar to ask me some questions directly as well. Okay, so yeah, me, yeah, that's me. Hello. Oh, this should have been slid to the front, but it's okay. We here. All right. So, understanding taxes, right? So, of course, when you're trading to gain, you're trading to win. If you don't understand taxes, even though you're gaining in trades, you can still be losing in wealth creation, right? And this is why we are here today. The goal is to gain awareness. And I do want to add that understanding taxes as a trader is going to be very different for you based upon your overall profile and your strategies, right? If you are more on short-term trades, you're going to be subject to different taxation. If you are an individual trader versus being a prop firm, you're going to have very different tax treatments, right? And it's also based upon the type of assets that you trade. So we're going to get into SPY versus SPX and how they're taxed differently as well. And those of you who are full-time traders, understanding the tax elections that you can make to allow your gains to go from being taxed at capital gains to being captured as ordinary income, so that you can deduct ordinary expenses against those gains. So it really just becomes income under of you acting as a business. Okay. All right. So what I was referring to is called trader status, right? So taking this few steps back. Most times when you are trading, whenever you sell an asset for a gain, for tax purposes, we call it a capital gain, right? Capital gains have two different tax treatments. It's either short-term or long-term. In the short term, capital gains are taxed at your ordinary income tax rate. This allows for a large variation in regards to how much taxes you may be assessed. In the short term, capital gains are taxed based upon the marginal tax brackets, which can go from a low of 10% to a high of 37%. So if you're somebody who's doing six-figure, seven-figure trading, then you're pushing, and they're all short-term gains, you are pushing yourself to a higher tax bracket of that 37%. Very, very high, right? In the long term, capital gains are taxed at either 0, 15, or 20%. And whether it's 0, 15, and 20% is based upon how much overall income you earn for that tax year. So if you're somebody who earned less than $35,000 altogether, including your trade income, you can pay 0% taxes on those capital gains, right? Now, in practice, when does this really happen? I do have very wealthy clients that have their assets tied up in other entities. So they have C corporations, they have trust, and they just pay their homes already paid off. So they pay themselves out maybe from one of their from their investment accounts, the capital gain equivalent of $35,000, and they pay 0% taxes every year, right? So again, typically it's for people who don't have to capture so much income because again, they have assets captured in other entities. And they're able to leverage the fact that short-term capital gains taxes can be 0% if you report a certain amount of income, right? And again, people are like, well, how can somebody survive with $35,000 a year? Well, if your home is paid for and if your home is paid for, you're taking these gains out in this way. You operate a business that's taking care of some of your meals, some of your travel, some of your business vehicles. It is very possible, right? So understanding taxes is really understanding how you can get these things to work for you. And this is why wealthy people are always accused of like not paying a lot of taxes. They're just using the law to their advantage, which all of us should be doing. The laws are there to be utilized, right? So strategies like that just involve a lot of planning, again, proper entity structuring, so that you can like live a life that you desire, but then still pay 0 to no taxes. All right, so trader status. This allows you to go from being taxed at capital gains rates, whether short-term or long-term, to you now being able to treat your trading less as just a here and there type of capital gain um, generating activity to more of a business, to where now your gains can be reported on a Schedule C as if somebody was doing any type of other small business, where you can add your gains as income and deduct expenses against those gains. Things like your softwares, if you bought a new computer, if you bought storage for your computer, if you're paying for courses, if you're paying for memberships like this group, these all becomes tax deductible, right? You can even pay yourself from your business a regular salary, so that now you can take advantage of having salaries and wages as a deduction. You can give yourself benefits. Let's talk retirement, 401k, SEP IRA, maybe some health coverage. When you elect trader status, you're now treating your trade as if you were a business owner, which allows you to take advantage of the areas of the tax codes that other business owners take advantage of as well. The fact that you can deduct expenses against your gains will drastically reduce the amount of capital gains. If you compare it to paying taxes on capital gains itself, you're paying a way lower effective tax rate because you were able to lower that actual amount by treating it as income and deducting ordinary and necessary business expenses against that income. Any questions? I'll just like kind of stop in between because it's a lot of information, so I want to make sure that we just do it in segments. Any questions so far? Don't be scared. I'm a CPA, but I'm for the people. I told y'all my name. Don't be scared. Okay. All right.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
So for that to happen, do you have to like trade under a LLC or like you can do individual?
You can actually do individual. You don't have to have an LLC. Now, do we recommend having LLC? Typically, yes, because now your portfolios will be owned by the LLC. It allows for generational wealth to be transferred so much more smoothly. When we own things in our individual names, it's really hard to like transfer them over to the next generation. But if you trade under a business, you're able to like set up your trade accounts under that business, and now the business becomes an asset to even if to the point where you want to kind of start growing and take external money to trade, you can do that. Like again, setting yourself up as a prop firm as well, right? So we just start kind of making ourselves more of a business than an individual. There's so much more ups to it, but you can still take advantage of trader status without having an LLC as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, thank you for doing this. We really appreciate you. I greatly appreciate you.
Of course.
Yeah, so I've been doing some research on my own because I wanted to show up prepared to have like questions that actually make sense for me. And I started looking into the trader tax status, and a lot of tax attorneys and CPAs I found online talking about it were saying how it's just so extremely difficult to meet the qualifications. So I ended up landing on deciding to building a family office by starting off with creating a revocable living trust, and then doing a C corporation through Wyoming, and then moving all of those shares of ownership to a non-grantor irrevocable trust. So I wanted to know your opinion on that. Would that be better than trading as an individual through the trader tax status?
So everything's all about your long-term goals. From what you're asking, it sounds like you are kind of planning more towards the future of, again, trading as like an entity versus an individual. To be trader tax status, it really just about how much hours you spend in trading, and trading has to like be your primary source of income, right? So it's difficult for people who like have W-2s and trade on the side here and there. However, if trading is actually covering a majority of your living expenses and you're doing it on a pretty part-time, full-time basis in terms of how much hours you commit to it, then you can elect the status. However, from your question, again, if you are thinking about more long-term, how do I do this now, but also be able to expand upon it in the future, then the structure that you're proposing also makes a much sense as well. So I would say it's more about like what your goals are, but the structure that you're proposing, being able to do it as a family office, and again, it allows for growth and long term. The trust allows for ease of wealth transfer, in the event that like you just want to pass it down to the future generations to come.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. So once I'm done setting all that up, and if I need someone to help me with my taxes for the first time, are you someone who can handle that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great questions. Great questions. Yes.
Is there a certain amount of trades that you have to hit to get trader tax status? And if so, what are you able to write off? And then the other question I have, if someone is on Social Security disability and they're trading, how can they not lose their Social Security benefit?
These are great questions. Okay, let me start with the Social Security. Number one is trading under an entity that doesn't hit your personal tax returns, because what they look for is your personal activity, right? And this is again what I said before, like wealthy individuals move through entities. They don't move through themselves. So if you can establish an entity, whether it's a C corporation, combined as a trust, as the lovely woman just kind of mentioned, this removes it from you at all. Like a trust is the closest equivalent to a human being in regards to like the rights that they have in separation from us as human beings. That is how very rich people are able to still get all of the benefits of our system: food stamps, healthcare. They don't play. They're able to do both, because on their personal income tax returns, again, they're showing minimal income. Their assets are held in businesses. They're moving through their entities so that at the personal level, they can still take advantage of whatever benefits that they were getting. In regards to number of trades, that is less significant. So you can do 2 trades a year. That can make you $200K, and you make a $42,000 from your W-2. Trader status will still be applicable. So it's less about how much quantity of trades you have and more about how much trading is able to again cover your full living expenses. So because again, this status is pretty much proposing that trading is like your main source of income. You're treating it as a business, and that's why you get to take advantage. And in regards to deductions, I have a couple of slides that I'm going to get into in a few, so I'll bring them up there. And then for the ebook, it'll be sent to everybody who attended this webinar after the webinar. But the ebook does have information about what's deductible as well. So, all right, and yes, please follow me on Instagram at the People CPA. Thank you, Stock Market Bigs. All right, let's get into some more. Let's get into some more stuff. So this is a good topic. So as I said before, as a trader, how you're taxed is dependent upon how you trade and also what you trade. Something that's really common is understanding the difference between how SPY and SPX are taxed. So just so that you guys know, these assets are very different in nature in regards to what they contain, and ultimately that makes a difference in regards to how they are taxed. So usually when we talk about SPY, we're thinking about typically this is going to be more on the, I want to make sure I don't get it washed up. Okay, yes. SPY, we're thinking EFT securities, right? On the SPX side, we're thinking about index options. Now, why are these things different? Securities are purely going to be capital gains tax, which we talked about, meaning that in the short term, it's going to be ordinary income tax brackets, 10 to 37%, etc. However, on the contrary, SPX, these are more index options, right? So they're subject to a different section of the tax code, specifically section 1256. So what does that mean? This means that this specific asset actually has 2 tax categories built within it. 60% of this asset gets taxed at the long-term capital gains rate, so default to 10, 0, 15, or 20%. And then 40% gets taxed at the short-term capital gains rate, which again is our low of a 10%, high to 37%. So what does that mean? And if we like quantify it as a trade. So let's say that someone had $100,000 in trading profit for the year. In scenario one, if all of those assets were SPY, they would pay the full short-term capital gains tax rate, which at that income level will be around 35%, which means that they will be paying $35,000 in taxes, right? Of course, all other factors held constant. Scenario two, if that person is trading SPX or index options, there's going to be a 60-40 tax treatment split. 60% will be taxed at the long-term capital gains rate of 15%, because again, I told you it was 0, 15, and 20 based upon how much total income. So $60,000 ends up being at the 15%, which ends up being $9,000 in long-term capital gains. The remaining 40%, which is 40,000, will be taxed at short-term capital gains, which is let's say 35%. Which means that that's $14,000. So in total, in scenario two, because of the nature of SPX assets, this person paid a combined total of $23,000 in taxes, which is $12,000 less than the person who traded SPY. Now, of course, in reality, you may just be dabbing into a bunch of either or, but this is why tax planning is important. I always tell my clients, like, you want to at least touch base with your CPA, hopefully mid-year and then at the end of the year, so that we can give you a projection of what you're going to be liable to pay in taxes, because that may just kind of give you some more context in regards to what gains you need to achieve to pay your tax liability. Because most of us may be just, having our gains and using them to fund our life. But we can't forget that Uncle Sam is a part of, our wealth equation. We don't want to overpay him, but we do want to make sure that we are being intentional about being proactive and minimizing our tax liabilities for sure. Okay. All right. Okay, somebody asks, how do losses offset tax liabilities in these instances? That's a really great question, because we're going to get into capital to loss harvesting in a second. However, it's important to note that wash sales are a thing and they are only applicable to SPY, right? So wash sales, do I have a slide? I don't think so. So I'll just talk about it right now. So wash sales pretty much happens when you sell a security and you sell a security for a loss and you buy a security within 30 days that's either the same thing or something similar. You're not going to be allowed to capture that loss. So that's specifically for SPY. That doesn't apply to SPX. So not index options, but ETF securities, yes. And we're gonna get a little bit more into kind of like tax loss harvesting. So we're right next. Okay. All right. So prop firms. So in nature, just so we can talk about what they mean. So SPY, yes. Yes, the wash rule applies to SPY securities. Okay. I'll come back to that. Okay. Yes, so prop firms. So really, honestly, very similar to how trader tax is. The good thing about prop firms, again, is you have the option. So by default, these individuals are treated as independent contractors. So those individuals that are trading maybe for larger, firms, and they're operating independently. So they're technically independent contractors by default. So they're going to file their taxes on the form Schedule C, meaning that they have their trading income as ordinary income, they're deducting their normal expenses, etc. So very similar to trader tax status. The difference is really, again, that since you're attached to a larger organization, they're going to be issuing you a 1099 as well, typically. Okay, I don't know if Corey, you wanted to add anything there? Popped your camera on.
Oh, no. I'm here
Okay.
to learn. I actually put it on my accent. I'm here writing stuff down too.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, when does tax season technically start and end?
That's a great question, right? So the tax year starts and ends January to December 31st. January 1st to December 31st is your tax year, unless you elect differently. As a business owner, as a trader status elector, as a prop firm owner, you can actually elect to change your tax year end, right? But most of us are on our 1/1 to 12/31 end date. So tax season typically starts at the end of January or early February. This really just depends on like when the IRS decides to open back up with staffing after the holidays and just their technical preparedness to take on the volume of transactions that are going to flood them, because there's like what 30 million people out here, 300 million, I don't know how people in America anymore. 300,000, 300 million thousand. So it starts at the end of January or early February. They typically announce tax day by the second week of January. Tax season ends typically April 15th for individuals. If you are a pass-through organization, so if you are S Corp or a partnership, your due date is actually March 15th, so a month before the individual tax dates. If you are a C Corp, it is also due April 15th when individual taxes are due as well. The reason for this is because pass-through entities like partnerships and S Corps, they issue a K-1 to their shareholders. So that month gap allows for the entity's taxes to be done and that K-1 to pass through to their shareholders so that their shareholder can file the K-1 and their stuff on their in their tax returns by the April 15th due date. Now, even though the tax day ends April 15th, taxes are filed all year around. This year, the IRS doesn't shut down until December 26th. Usually it's like before Thanksgiving. This year it's after Christmas, which is wild for us accountants, but it is what it is. So even if you haven't filed within the tax season, you have the rest of the year to file your taxes. Now, if you owe though, from the tax due date, you will start to accumulate penalties and interest if you owe. So you definitely want to make sure that you're making estimated tax payments so that you can avoid penalties and interest. If you are typically getting a refund, waiting till end of the year to file isn't, it's not going to hurt you. But we always recommend that people file within the season because the goal is to get your finances done in Q1 so that you can spend the rest of your year executing and just growing wealth, right? That is the goal. And then spend Q4 speaking with a CPA about a tax strategy so that you don't overpay when the season comes back around. But yeah, it's a great question. All right. I think we are, okay, capital loss harvesting, right? So this has to do with just great portfolio management. I have a bunch of friends that are financial planners, again, other CPAs as well. And this type of strategy is really about portfolio management. Like, okay, you have a portfolio, so many types of assets, and some of them may be performing really, really, really well, and some of them are not, right? However, it is sometimes beneficial to hold the failing assets within your portfolio because you can use capital loss harvesting as a strategy to reduce your gains. This would mean that if you want to like realize some gains, right, when you're trading, your gain isn't realized until you actually cash out in that investment, right? So if you're doing like more long-term trading, even though your assets are appreciating in value, they're going up, you don't really pay taxes on it until you realize it, aka you sell some of those shares. Now, what individuals would do in terms of efficient portfolio management is maintain those stocks that are doing bad, and in the ones that do exponentially well, I may sell some to realize some gains, but I also may sell some of the ones that are not doing great as well, so that the capital loss can offset the gains, and I can take advantage of having some of that income without paying taxes. So that's what capital loss harvesting is. It ends up just allowing you to, again, rearrange your portfolio, but match it to the point where you can realize some gain, but then, not have to worry about paying taxes because, again, you use losses to offset the capital gains tax.
Yes.
And what you're talking about here is what you are usually explaining to me, Court, when you say that we should allow our options contracts to expire and go to zero.
Yeah, just let that shit expire.
Versus it being like letting it be only at 70% down, correct?
Yeah, if you guys take an SPY or an SPX trade, and you're reporting this tax status as a trader, a lot of times if it's down, if you're on the wrong side of it, you're down 70, 80%, let that shit go to zero. And I know it's hard to wrap your mind around as well, right? Because, you're like, yo, me take my $10 out and take another
Mhm.
trade. No, you don't want to pay any taxes on that $10. So that's why too, sometimes guys, it'll seem like me and Kendra just aren't saying anything or what happened with that trade. Yeah, we just let it expire.
It's going to
Just
zero.
let it expire worthless so we can get it on the back end at the end of the year in taxes. And I needed Shay to explain that and why that was, because yeah. So thank you, Shay, for,
Thank you.
sharing
Yeah.
some of our trading strategy with that aspect of it as well. Like, yeah, you guys know I'm not selling nothing for $2. Like, I'll just take the zero and start over. Like,
Take the zero, use
yeah,
it to offset some of the
yeah, I'm just
gains.
go to zero, guys. This is why we do classes like this too, and why it's great to have really good friends who are knowledgeable in different areas. Thank you, Shen, once again for being here. We appreciate you.
You're very
I
welcome.
got a question about that.
Mm.
Is it true that you can only offset 3,000 or can you do more?
Okay, so in terms of capital loss harvesting, there's no cap, right?
Okay.
What you're referring to is how your capital losses offset your ordinary income. So different income types, right? So we consider capital losses, we call it portfolio income. Ordinary income is going to be your W-2 income, ordinary interest, ordinary dividends, right? So capital losses can only offset ordinary income by $3,000. So that is the cap, right? However, let me just give some more context. Say, for example, I
You
had
like trade full
total
time.
losses of $15,000.
Mm.
I cashed out and had gains of $10,000, right? So the net effect, I have $5,000 left of losses. Of that $5,000 left of losses, only 3,000 of it will be able to offset my other income, like my W-2 income, my interest, my dividends. The remaining 2,000 will get carried forward, so that next year you can use it again. So it always gets carried forward indefinitely. So you can just use it next year. So AKA next year, for example, I had a client, he he's who I don't want to be. This is why I be like baby stepping with trading. I ain't gonna lie. So he runs a full-time business and also wanted to be a part-time trader. So he took a course and he had money. So he put like, I think $100,000 into a portfolio. This man lost $60,000 in that year, right? So he had 60K loss. Of that 60K loss, only 3,000 of it was offsetting the rest of his income that he made. And again, he's making millions of dollars, so he didn't really get a tax benefit until he took a sabbatical because he really wanted to get into trading. And he actually made, I think, made probably like $80,000 the next year. So from that 60K, he had $57,000 left over because it got carried forward because only 3,000 of it was able to deduct against ordinary income. So when he made his 80K gain, he had $57,000 worth of losses to use to offset it. So he only had to pay taxes on the remaining $23,000 that was there. So that's an example of capital loss harvesting. Number one, well, kind of bit, but more importantly, just leveraging the carry forward losses that you have from previous years, but also understanding that, yes, you can deduct $3,000 of your total losses against your ordinary income and other income on your W-2. And I just want to show you guys it. So like when you file your taxes, I think it's really important to just also like understand how to look at what's going on. Now, maybe the next time we do this, I can actually kind of make it a bit more practical.
Yes, and that's a great example, Shay. I wanted to say
Yeah.
too, this is why I encourage a lot of you guys too, especially the mentees, to start teaching and go get you some Zells and some Cash Apps and start a business around trading and your skill set and all of the things because it's taxed much differently as a business owner as
Yes.
opposed to somebody who just trades and makes $250,000, $300,000 a year. It's just better.
That is a fact. You get so much more. So, as mentioned, what you check for is here. So, as an individual trader, again, your trades are going to go on Schedule D. Your capital gains will be here. So gains are reported in full. There's no capital gains. If you made $100,000, they want the $100,000 to be taxed. Now your losses over here on line 7 will be capped at the $3,000, right? But on Schedule D, there is a section, and this is important because I want you guys to, like, if you guys are experienced these type of things, know how to read your tax form so you can make sure that the IRS has note of your carry forwards. So as you can see over here on Schedule D, Line 6, if there is a short-term loss carry forward, or on line 14, a long-term loss carry forward, it'll be reported here, then it'll move to your W-2, I'm sorry, to your 1040, because again, it's capped at $3,000. But the remaining of it that gets rolled forward will be on your Schedule D. When we start tax returns for our clients, the first thing that we do is triage their prior year returns so that we can capture any roll forwards that they may have been missing, because sometimes clients don't even know, like they forget that they had losses, because maybe they had losses in 1 year and then 3 great years of wins. You know what I'm trying to say? And they forgot that they had this loss that they could have used. You know, we see it all the time. So you really want to make sure that you are also being able to read your tax return and what's going on as well. All right. Somebody asked about forex taxability. Forex is actually taxed in 2 ways, very similar to SPY, SPX, where in some ways, based upon the election of the forex, it'll be taxed at short-term capital gains rate, and or it can be under IRS code 1256 again, where it's the 60-40 split also. So really similar to that SPY versus SPX comparison. Okay, let's keep going. All right, let's get into tax deductions, the fun part. First and foremost, I want everyone to know that literally, again, this is from our people who are trader tax status or trading under a business. As Court said, it is a really important thing to do because you are just treated as a business owner. Business owners, honestly, I tell my clients, anything is a tax deduction. I can make anything a tax deduction. Like at this point in my career, anything is tax deductible.
Yo, now you talking about language, yo.
Like, what is it?
I
Like,
love
what
when
did
you
you
do that
do? What
shit.
did you...
Yo, it's she's the best, guys. Get on her schedule. Definitely work with Shay.
Anything is tax deductible. Because when I say that, I don't say like, oh, we're about to scam the IRS. No, it's law. Understand how to use the law to your favorability, right? The IRS requires for anything to be deductible, that has to just be 2 things. It has to be ordinary in your course of business, and it has to be necessary for you to incur that expense for you to make more money. If we can argue both of those things, it's always deductible. So, like with my clients, for example, this is real life. I had a client last week. They're like, "Oh, we spent $40,000 on it's a married couple. They have a home, like they do nurse staffing to people who need like home care, but they do just with nurses. And they did a party for the CEO, which is my client. It's him and his wife that run the companies together. They spent 40K on a party, and they were like, "Can we deduct this?" And I'm just like, "Well, let's start about the guest list. Who was there?" Like all of our staff, some of our clients, our stakeholders. Some of this wasn't a birthday party. This was a business meeting. This was a company holiday party, right? So it's like you have to just it gets crazy why I love tax planning, because you get to be creative. As long as you set the premise for that thing, and that premise again aligns with it being ordinary and necessary, it can be a tax deduction. I had another client, for example, who asked me, I want to buy a Sprinter van, like probably use it for like family road trip and stuff like that, but I want to make it tax deductible. Stick your business logo on it. Now we achieve 2 things. You have free marketing as you're going on family road trips and do whatever y'all do. You may work on that Sprinter van sometimes, right? So it ends up becoming a business asset because you wrapped it with your business logo. And then also, you're able to take advantage of depreciation. If that Sprinter van was more than 6,000 pounds, she can deduct the full amount in that whole year. So say if it costs 60K, she now has a 60K tax deduction under her business, and she can still use that, van as a business asset, but then also to do what she wants to do with it personally, right? It's all about the intention behind the tax position. So with it's just getting in your mind of train, like again, you definitely want to work with a great CPA, and educate them beforehand on what you want to do so that you can understand how to make it a business expense. Definitely with travel. I travel all the time. All my travel is written off. This year, I think I've probably been to like 15 countries. Every year, at least 10 to 15 countries. And it's always a business deduction. Why? Because every time I go somewhere, I make sure I meet with people, right? I'm an accountant. I'm a virtual accountant. So me being able to go and discuss business with potential clients, or me being able to travel and organize my schedule so I can go speak at an event if I am somewhere, connecting with other leaders and individuals in that spaces. Now my travel is business expenses. So even if there's a rule called weekend wrapping, if you have a meeting on a Friday and on a Monday, you can deduct the full expense for that trip covering the weekend as well. It's called weekend wrapping. It's a legitimate tax strategy. So if you schedule a meeting on a Friday and on a Monday, but you went outside Saturday and Sunday, you turned up and had a good time, that whole period is a business deduction for that travel, right? So again, it's about learning how we turn our lifestyle into tax deductions, because that is what wealth people do. They are walking tax deductions. Everything that they do, like, they're not buying private jets for no reason. It's a business asset. Every private jet that you've seen, it has somebody's logo on it, right? So again, it's about taking advantage and just being confident, but also having the proper team and structure so that you can take advantage of deductions. Corey, you got a comment?
No, I was saying a lot of the clients I work with as well, being influencers, they just live their life and just pretty much write off everything at the end of the year, similar to what you mentioned here.
Exactly. Now, other deductions, home office. If y'all trading from your homes, make sure that you're deducting your home office. And don't get intimidated like, oh, well, I work in my kitchen or I work in my room. That's your home office as well. All you want to do is think about the square footage of that space. So, I mean, I'm in the office now, but if I was in my room, I would just figure, okay, my room may be 250 square feet, right? And I use at least 1/5 of that space with 50 square feet for my home office. I can now take that 50 square feet divided by my total living space, and then take that fraction and multiply it against things like my utilities, my light bill, my water bill, any type of cleaning that I may have paid for in my home office, even down to, again, whatever you pay to live in your home, cleaning, maintenance, repairs, etc. A portion of those expenses that you're taking care of for your whole home can now be attributed to your business because of the home office deduction rule as a tax thing. And you don't have to pay for it from your business account. It can just be you allocating this from your personal account. In practice, though, we recommend creating accountable plans, which pretty much is a plan that is between you and your business operations, stating what your business can cover as employee expenses. So home office ends up being one of those things. Yes, then software. So of course, we got paying for special softwares, courses, education. Again, definitely your investment in this group, it's a tax deduction. There's that. However, so I love being about business because some of our clients, they want to go back to school, at the same time, because they may now have a good side hustle going. Your business can pay your education expenses $5,250 a year as a fringe benefit, and you don't have to report it as personal income to you. So now you get a $5,250 benefit from your business for you just being enrolled in school. There's so much more fringe benefits when you are, again, an employee of your own business. Like if you want to deduct, your business can cover your in-house, your in-home gym. There's a fringe benefit for that. So where your company can like legally pay you, and it's a business deduction, but you don't have to report it as personal income. Other fringe benefits includes things like certain like health benefits. There's so much that you can do. I can go on and on about being a business and how you can maximize deductions. Some others as well, like internet costs, obviously, any trader equipment. So your laptops, maybe you bought some computer enhancements, etc. And if you purchase market data, that's also
Wait. You're saying we can write off our flow based, like the stuff when we go look at like quant data, when we have subscriptions
All
like
of that,
trading
all of
views,
that.
yes,
all
Yo,
of these things
yes,
can
she
be
put
wrote
me
off?
on all
yes,
of it. Even part of your move,
Wow.
part of your move is going to be tax deductible because it is a business expense.
It is.
exactly.
It is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So many
I'm trying not to use the word loophole. These
it's
are
not a
deductions.
loophole. It's not a loophole. It is the law. Like loopholes, I feel like it's like, all right, this is the law, but I'm just doing something. No, this is literally the law. Like, and it's like this for a reason because America is a capitalistic system, right?
Correct.
So whether you are investing in real estate or business, or you're powering the market by being a trader, it's tax advantage for you. Like whenever you look in the tax code, that is it. You either own a business, you are in the market in some type of capacity, or you own real estate. If you're not one of those three categories, you don't really get no tax benefits, you know?
Right.
So it's about us now that we're doing these things. I think a lot of us are just new to like wealth in this way. We have to take advantage of the laws that are there because these people been doing it. These laws been created. They've been lobbied for these changes in laws. I don't know what I did. Oops. Let me see.
Hey, quick question if you don't mind.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm also getting into, so I do trade and invest, and I also teach people too, and I'm
Mhm.
getting into doing a LLC around me teaching people and stuff also.
Mhm.
So I've been going through ChatGPT with like creating like uh courses and like my own PDF courses and stuff. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Is there any way I can get like, even though I'm not paying money for that, is there any, well, since I'm paying for the complete, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the word, the complete thing for the chat GPT, is there any way I can get a tax write-off for that too, since I'm
Oh, for
paying that
sure. That's
monthly? I'm
software and
sorry.
subscriptions, for sure. Yes. So any software and subscription, even if you're using a platform for the course, that's deductible. If you're paying for ChatGPT or any other AIs, that's tax deductible. We lump that in software and subscription costs.
Okay, even with editing content and stuff, like I pay
Yes,
for like, oh
editing,
wow.
paying the editors, paying all that. Yes, everything. Again, as long as ordinary, necessary. It is necessary for you to invest in things like marketing and things like AI support and things like. So yes, these all become tax deductions under your business.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And what kind of how does it work with receipts? Like, do we have to have like everything like kind of show proof, or is there like a certain amount you can just say you did and you don't have to show?
That's a great question. So here is a professional response. Having receipts obviously allows you to 100% defend your tax position, right? Now, however, if you don't have receipts, they go based upon like reason, right? So you can still deduct that expense. However, now you're subject to a bit more scrutiny. So, for example, if I'm deducting like the cost of a computer, and I said that computer costs $10,000, but I have no receipt. If I have the receipt, I'm taking my $10,000 deduction. If you don't have the receipt, the IRS is like, well, for a typical computer of what you're trying to describe, it's only $2,500. So now they're gonna adjust your return and make you pay a penalty and interest because you weren't able to depend. So that's what not having receipts do. Like, if they can challenge you, they obviously will, and they put it down to like what they think is reasonable. So now you're kind of going against that, right? So if you have low expenses, again, sometimes maybe it's not worth like, okay, like keeping small receipts for like basic, like, okay, like pens and markers and notebooks, but things that are large, I think, again, going back to an accountable plan that everybody should have in their business, you need to think about your thresholds as well. So, like in my business, any expense that costs more than $500, we need a receipt for example. Like, and I use Mercury as a bank. So, like, I can set it in my bank, and then whenever the transaction happens, it tells, hey, this needs a receipt. It needs a receipt.
So
And I think it's also different in my businesses. I have five. So in one of them, I think I have it as low as $100 because it's also based upon like just again like your typical transaction volume. Yes, Court.
yeah, that's great advice. I was going to say too, if you guys are starting certain businesses around your trading, me personally, my business is a business consulting. I don't do anything in finance. Business consulting. I have marketing agencies. I can get you guys my NAICS code so you guys are able to write off and deduct a lot more different things. Um, work with Shay. I'll say it again. Work with Shay. We got you guys.
So Court calls me Shay because we go back like two wheels in a Cadillac. But my name is Shanae, y'all. Call me Shanae. Don't be trying to write my company and be like Shay. They're gonna be like, who are you talking about?
My fault.
It's okay. It's okay. Choose number I business
Hey,
structure.
one more. Oh, sorry.
Oh
Hey,
yes,
hey,
go ahead.
one more question. I know you said like about internet bill. So since a lot of my trades are on my phone, I could do my phone bill.
Heck yeah, of course you can. Better
Okay, man.
yet, honestly, business plans are so much more favorable in regards to price and features. You can actually, and this also helps you build up business credit if you transfer your phone bill into your business name.
Mm,
Not T-Mobile has a really good business program. I'm not gonna lie. I travel a lot, so you get like free international everything. And the bill now is in your business name, so now 100% of your phone bill is tax deductible.
mm,
Like, yes,
that,
like, I got two phones, one for the trade,
right.
for the, get a free phone, get a free business plan, if you could do so, because yes, that line ends up becoming 100% tax deductible because it's now a business asset and business liability from the plan being under your business's name, not your personal name. As I said before, if there's one thing that you guys take as you guys leave me today, wealthy people move through entities, right? We're trading, we're building wealth. We want to move through entities. That is how you really take advantage of what America is built for. People come here for the American dream. The American dream is to own some businesses and assets. Like, that is what we're here for. So you want to, again, move through structure, move with systems through a business.
So I have a question as far as businesses.
Yeah.
Because I tried to create an LLC a while back in real estate, but one thing I did, I feel like I set it up wrong because they came back and was taxing me for stuff that I didn't even own. So is there a certain way that you should sign up for trading on an LLC?
Yes. So I will have to just kind of take a look at how did you register your business? Did you register it as a trading business?
No, this was real estate, but I was wondering if there was certain one for trading. Because like I said,
Oh, okay.
they were they were targeting me for owning homes, which I never did. I just bought them
Got it.
and
Yeah.
sold paper. So it's
That's a
like, why am I
mhm,
paying you every month when I
mhm.
didn't even own a home?
Right. That's a great way. And this is where it goes back to NAS codes, like Court said, right? What your NAS code does is like register with the federal and the state, like what they expect in regards to business activity. Of course, again, America is a business. When you register as a business activity and they collect revenue from that thing, they're gonna just send you random bills until you reconcile with them and do your filings, whatever. For trading, though, I would recommend kind of going the route that Court said if you're just getting started. Now, once you want to like really grow it like in terms of like educational or consulting, so it's a bit more general versus just being focused on trading. However, if trading is like where I'm going to go ahead and grow, then maybe it makes sense kind of structuring yourself in a way where it's more of like a prop firm setup, or it could even be an S corp or C corporation setup as well. Mhm.
I had another question.
Nothing about NAS codes too. Okay, we can ask your question right now. About NAS code is that what NAS codes that you choose also like will like they be like if you try to get certain type of funding, they be they be like, you a trader?
Yeah, anything
So like,
financial, you guys are gonna get curved at the door. You don't want capital in your name. One of my businesses that I was recently just started and was able to get a bunch of capital, I think was a marketing agency that me and Kendra started. We were able to get like $100,000 in like week two of that business being open with a very low interest rate. Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, we used some of that to trade, and then we paid them back with like we gave them their money back, and we kept what what was extra, if you would. So there's so many different components and so many different ways to do things. But like Shania was saying, Miss Wilson, you guys just want to plan, and you want to start planning really, really early, and preparing for the upcoming year.
yes, for sure. That's a great, as I said before. So like we try to like kind of try to stay away from like those codes, like trading. Again, unless you're gonna be a full-blown trading institution. Definitely things like credit repair, like these some of the real estate ones, like they get like they're like I don't say blacklisted, but like they're on the list of like when it comes to lenders, they're like it's risk. That's what it comes down to. It's the risk that is that inherent in these type of businesses, right? The more riskier your NAS code is, the more they may turn it away in regards to funding. So you want to kind of start with safer things as you're growing and scaling. And a good thing about entity is that you can have several of them. You can grow this one and then eventually just branch off and start a whole nother one that's specifically built for trading, if you want to continue to grow in that direction as well. Okay. Yes. Okay, good.
I was asking again about the Social Security disability.
Yeah.
How did you say you would set that up again? And then how would I pay myself to cover other expenses outside of what my check
All
covers?
right. Great question. So you will need to structure a business because you need to lower what's being reported on your personal tax returns. Let me also add a disclaimer in this recording that this is not professional CPA advice, y'all. Okay. If y'all want professional advice, book a consult. I'm saying it because when I give advice, it's very general. For me to give you specific advice, I have to dive a bit more into your specific situation. But I'm going to answer your question at surface level. So like, yes, what people can do typically is, again, do your trades under an entity, have an entity be a C Corp where the entity pays its own taxes, right? Under that C Corp, you can transfer some of your personal expenses that can be business expenses. So a portion of your living expenses, your C Corp can pay you for leveraging it as an office. If you have a vehicle, your C Corp can pay you for, using it as a business vehicle. Travel, meals, etc. So like that's option A, because of course with your income type, you don't want to report so much income because it can be flat. I understand that. So like now it's about how do you structure a separate entity in a way where you're able to use some of the funds as business deductions instead of paying it out to yourself. So just about transferring some of your personal expenses to them being more business expenses so that they're just directly under the business itself. Okay. All right. So, actionable steps to enhance your wealth. So like, yes, trading is really important. As I said before, I'm going to actually ask in the comments, because I said this 3 times. In regards to how you are taxed as a trader, what does it depend on? Let's see. Maybe I'll give out a free consult. Let's see how much interaction we can get. Who was paying attention? I gave 2 reasons, 2 areas to consider in regards to how
Your trader tax status, your status, what you claim,
so it's
like
yes, it's how
individual
you're
versus
trading. Exactly. So how you're trading. So your
yeah.
structure, I think Joanne added that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the type of assets that you are trading. Yes. Okay. So somebody did get it. Who's JJ Young? Whoever is that, send me an email. We got to get that person the free consult. So they got both. But yes, it's your assets and your structure. Assets and your structure. All right. Okay, I think that pretty much is it. Wow, brings us to the console page. Now, JJ Young, whom that person is, we're gonna follow through and get you your free consult. Anybody else? If you let me show my face. I was taking notes, period.
I definitely was taking notes.
Great session. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, if y'all want to chat before tax season, I definitely will recommend just getting on my calendar before the year's over, to see how you can best structure yourself before we get into tax season. And also, if you want to become a client, like this is your way in as well. You'll have this consultation, and then we'll also onboard you through our software. I guess last thing that I did want to add, if you guys are doing individual trading and you need to organize your finances, we do have a free tool. It's called Folder Suite. Oops, wrong thing. It's called Folder Suite. We built it for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs that need a bit more of assistance organizing their finances. So within Folder Suite, you can make your business profile. If you don't have one, you can just start with your individual account. But in this business profile, it'll give you an overview of your compliance. So just like areas that you need to consider, and more importantly, any gaps that you need to take. But even more importantly, you can do your accounting right in here, by adding manual entries yourself, or you can upload a CSV statement from your bank account. And literally the AI will categorize it for you in literally less than 5 minutes. And then you can have a full-blown P&L, because for tax season, you're going to need to present this to your accountant. And again, this is free for you to all use. I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat.
Wow, this is free. That's free. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Again,
Yeah,
I told you I'm a CPA for the people, y'all.
for the
This is nice.
people.
Thank you so much.
We got to do this like quarterly. We got to have her back
Really got to be
because this was really
quarterly.
good. The people who didn't make it tonight, they missed out because we got to do this again. This is
They
really
missed
good.
out.
They
And again, you
did.
guys will all be getting the free ebook, Trade the Tax, just Trade the Tax ebook. That'll be sent out with this recording as well for y'all. Come in here.
Perfect. Perfect.
I have one more question. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I remember you was talking about the tax time. So what happens like if you create your LLC or something later, like say like in March or April? How does it work as far as the first few months you was doing the individual and then you switch over? How does that work as far as taxes?
So literally it'll work just like that. Like you'll have two Schedule C's if you're an individual in your trader status. You'll have one. Well, actually, honestly, we just like lump all the income under the LLC. If you, long as you made it in that year, we can just add it under the business for that year, right? Because you can be in business and in the process of starting an LLC and still be operating under the LLC name. So usually if you start the business within that year, we can just claim everything under that business. The only businesses that we can't do that for, I mean, it's more on the complex side, is like you can't be a C Corp and switch to an S Corp and try to get it all under the S Corp. They require you to do two separate tax returns. Hi, baby. Want to go say hi?
So do you recommend a C Corp versus an LLC?
Hi, everybody.
No.
So I recommend starting off with an LLC. It's okay. She's gonna cry if you take her. It's okay. It's okay. You can start off with an LLC to get started. Now, if your business starts to grow in complexity, then you may want to consider being like an S Corp or a C Corp. An S Corp for sure. If once you start to net more than $40,000, you want to definitely be an S corporation because it's going to help you minimize the amount of self-employment taxes that you pay. Thank you.
Okay. So if you know you're gonna make a lot of money, I probably need to start as an S Corp then. I do pretty well with trading.
Yep. So you definitely want to just be S corp for tax purposes. If you need help with setting that up, we also do business formation. We do it all. Anything that has to do with getting you ready to build wealth, we do it at FOLA.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much.
I also have another question. Knowing that really wasn't in tune with the tax part of it until now, what do you recommend as far as now and going into the new year?
I'm sorry, what's the question again? I'm sorry.
I said not being in tune with taxes as far as I've been a trader, but I've been in losses since then. But going on to the new year, what do you recommend us do for like the past losses or gains if we hadn't been into like giving taxes?
Yeah, so definitely organizing them because they're only going to work to your advantage. Like you definitely want to have them captured. So it kind of goes back to if you filed taxes and did not include trading activity on it and you want to claim those losses is what guess what you're trying to say. You may not need to amend your taxes if you have a good record of your losses on and your own internal records. And if they were all losses and not gains, then really the IRS doesn't care too much because you don't owe them money. They owe you, right? Technically. So they don't be tripping when they owe you. If you owe them, different story. If you didn't report gains, that's a different story. You know, that's not even tax evasion. So yes. So if you want to do that moving forward, again, I recommend just you working with the proper tax strategist to get you caught up and get those losses recognized. Well, thank you all for such a great night. I know y'all about to have a nice trading session.
Yeah,
Oh,
we probably turn this into a quick sentiment call if you guys are with it. Let me see. I think somebody else has one more question, Mr.
okay.
Thompson, Lamont.
Oh, who had a question?
Yeah, he put in the chat. Yo, you can unmute yourself, guys. You guys can speak.
I think I see one of my clients in here, Kaylee.
Yo, what's good?
Hey, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's kind of loud in my house, so I had to mute it. But yeah, so pretty much I became pretty profitable with futures trading from like September until now. And I was wondering, would you recommend getting an LLC now, or how would that work?
Honestly, now is always better for sure. Definitely
Okay.
if you want to capture that for this upcoming tax season, you might as well incorporate hopefully before this year is over. And again, if you need help doing that, we can definitely help you get it expedited. What state are you in?
Oh, North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, so they're pretty quick. But yes, I
Okay, great,
definitely
great.
recommend getting set up so that you can capture this will be your first tax year. And then also the reason why getting entity is important as well is because if you guys have aspirations to like real estate, they want 2 years of tax return. So if you're going to claim business income, you might as well just start reporting it early so that you can leverage that and build wealth in other directions as well.
Okay. Can you drop like your website and the link or something like that? I can schedule something with you.
Yes. Yeah.
I
So you
mean the
can
chat.
book a consult, yeah, with this call because it is discounted for this group. But then also I'll just drop our email. And yes, Mr. JJ Young, if you can please send me an email and be like, I got the free consult so that I can get you scheduled as well.
Shout out to JJ. Good work, my man.
I
Good.
have a quick question.
Look at God. Shout out to me. Amen.
Yes.
Are you able to assist with setting up a C corporation in Wyoming if we stay in a different state?
Yes, that's no problem. You are gonna need a registered agent address, a virtual address to use to get it set up. But yes, we can help. But it's a separate service, so we have like a list of providers that you can choose from.
Mhm.
Usually it's between like $20 to $50 a month. But you need a Wyoming address, set up a Wyoming entity. So you would just need to leverage some type of virtual service.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. All right, y'all. Well, let me go tend to my baby, put her to sleep because it's bedtime. I had a good time with you all tonight, and I hope to see you all soon.
Yes, you'll
Yes,
be seeing us very,
soon.
very, very soon. I'll be home soon as well. You're gonna come check you.
Hey, bye.
Bye, baby. You guys
Bye
ready?
bye.
All right, y'all.
We
All
do some
right, you
quick trading
guys.
stuff, look at some charts, go through some watch list things.
Yes, if you guys are going to be trading with us, drop a fire emoji in the chat. If you're going to be trading
Fire,
with us
fire.
tomorrow.
Yo, and if you guys don't have a trading home and you're looking for one, we are open. We would love to have you all. Kendra, do we have anything special for them if they get started with us tonight?
Yes, you guys can get 40% off your first month if you use code TAX40.
Tax 40, and we will post the link.
There we go. TAX40 is the code.
Perfect,
This was
perfect, perfect.
great. This was
Gonna be
so
a fun week. We'll see though. We have big news on Thursday, so we'll see if we go into the week and if we just chop around and consolidate prior or what we get. Let's see. And I posted it in the community here in the strategy chat channel. I posted the upcoming economic calendar. And if you guys ever want to reference it yourself, I'll post a link here in the chat for you. I would say for me personally, a lot of times when I'm looking at the economic calendar, red folder, 3 stars and up, 2 stars and up, things that'll actually move the market. Every person who works at the Fed when they speak throughout the week doesn't mean as much as, when Jay Powell is speaking. So we'll look out for that. We have core CPI on Thursday. Um, that's going to be important. And then CPI month over month and year over year. Huge catalyst in the market. If you choose no other time to trade this week outside of Thursday, could be right. Probably a smart thing to do.
Yeah, Thursday is also the day with the most, I would say the most notable earnings. Nike reports,
Mhm.
FedEx reports, let's see, CarMax, that's Thursday. Carnival reports on Friday. Micron Wednesday. There's not too many, but those are the heavier days, Wednesday through Friday. Monday, Tuesday, it's really not anything. So I'm thinking potentially a continuation on let me see what happened. I didn't even see. Did you see futures? Did we open
Let's see how
green
we
or
open up.
red?
Y'all was so wrapped up in the last call we did, all the tax
It
information.
was so
This is my
good.
first glimpse of the market since Friday afternoon. But yeah, it looks like the
Same.
Dow might possibly open up green. We want 100 points, guys. We want it to be up 100 or down 100. Other than that, you would probably consider it to like be mixed, more or less. So we'll be watching the Dow going into tomorrow morning and into the session. Kendra mentioned here, you said FedEx earnings?
FedEx, Nike,
FedEx
and
and
Carnival on Friday.
Carnival. You guys know me. One of my favorite things to track as it pertains to, individual companies, individual stocks, as opposed to like sector ETFs or indices, is seasonality, right? I am wanting to see which companies perform well in this month, year over year, over an extended period of time. So, just for an example, let's see. Let's take a look. We said FedEx, correct?
Correct.
Let me see. FedEx seasonality. And the stock symbol for that, guys, is FDX. Let me see if I can. Having trouble logging into this. Give me one moment. Kendra, you want to open up your chart and we'll take a look at some things together, guys.
We'll be looking at FedEx. Okay, I got FedEx open. I got the chart open.
Perfect. I'm
Or
gonna try to get this seasonality thing going. Give me 1 second. You could break down the chart here, Kendra. I can see, is that EMA? Is that the 50 or 200?
it's the 50. You want the 200 SMA or EMA?
We can do an SMA and keep it simple.
And on FedEx. And on the day. It look like this. Oh, so tough. I don't have my screens. I'm on a laptop right now. Let me see.
You're not in the lab. You on, I don't want to say, is it vacation? Would you consider it
Nah, this not
vacation still?
vacation. This is work.
Or we
This
call
has
it
been
every,
this has been work
this is what
for
everybody does, right? After we talk to Shay, everybody starts calling everything work. So, it's a tax write-off.
most
All
definitely.
work. So FedEx for the month of December, on average, it actually tends to drop most of the time for December. This is the time of year where it tends to perform worse
See.
year over year. So we'll see. Let's see who does well going into this time of year. Anything worth trading? Not really. Perfect. So let me see.
Yeah, you're right. It was bearish last year in December.
Yeah.
Yep. Same for 23.
Yeah. Let's take a look at let's take a look at SPX here. S&P 500. Going into this week, we're gonna have 6,800 as a major support level for us. 6,800. Below 6,800, we'll have targets of 6,700, 6,600, and then 6,500 there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need my tools.
Holding above this level, we'll look for a retest of 6,900,
There we go.
6,950, and then
Oh, yeah.
major support level here. Sitting on it.
Yeah, for sure. If we can break this, I can't even see my stuff. I can't do this little screen. I'm gonna have to have y'all seen those travel Amazon screens that they have for laptops? I need one of those. Right here at the top of the one, over 66840. I'm in calls. First target would be 685,190 and to the moon after that. But yeah, from here. 6,840 would be my entry. And this is on the 6 hour. So potentially it's something that let me look at the daily. Same thing for the daily. It really can go. You're right. We really can go from here.
Mm, perfect, perfect. And we'll just watch that going into tomorrow. Can we take a look at the VIX? I know we retested
Sure.
18 last week, and then it's a strong area of resistance, and then we closed the week back near 16 again. So we'll
Yeah.
be watching the VIX. As you guys can see, a very strong area of support. If Kendra wants to go and start circling every time we were down here and bounced, she'll probably be able to do so for almost 12 months.
Circle, circle. Yeah. Like it's all,
Hmm.
like,
Very,
yeah.
very strong support zone. We'll see if the VIX moves back above 18. Back over 18, we'll, look to retest 20 and look for the broad market to move down. And then we'll see what happens there. Gold also looks really, really strong.
Yeah, it does.
Moving to push higher.
Let's
There's
see
an
if it
area.
retests the high or break out.
Resistance there. I wrote that down last week that's something we'll have as on watch. As long as we can hold 4,200, that's going to be our primary support area. Yep, right about where your SMA is there.
Sounds
Below
about
that, we'll look for a move back down to 4,000. And, anything below 4,000, the floor is out on gold. I watch spot gold, guys, and I'll type the symbol for you here. This is gold ETF that she has on the screen. I'm watching XAUUSD.
yeah, go.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm watching when I'm watching gold, guys. Like we mentioned, 4,000 is going to be our support level. Below that, we can see 3750. Below that 4,000, I would say the floor is out, and we'll go back and retest those zones that Kendra has there from prior weeks when we've done these calls.
Yep. Meta is looking really bearish to me,
Mm-hmm.
on multiple time frames. So this is something I'm also watching this week. Yeah. If we don't hold this area of support, potentially we could come back down to this 579 area.
Okay. Yeah, that looks solid.
Right about here is the next first
So
target.
we're gonna have Meta on watch. We also had Tesla on watch. If you go and watch and look at Tesla on the hourly, it finally broke above 456. You can see where that was a strong area of resistance for a while here. Every time we got about in this zone and retested this area, we got a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a pullback. So ideally, yeah, hold above 456, and
Yeah.
our next level isn't till about 480, 470. A lot of room to run if we can hold this and kind of get a strong push into the week. And if we start to lose uptrend, we'll look for shorts below like that 450 area. And then we'll take that to like 445 and then like 436.50. Kind of like, yeah, exactly what Kendra has diagrammed here. She's really good at this.
At the levels, yeah, when I get into it, it's crazy because I
Mhm.
never take Tesla. I just don't be getting lucky like everybody else. I don't know. It's something. I
We all
I, I
got
miss
those
it.
companies. Yeah. Yo, guys in the chat, talk to me, chat. Do you guys have any companies blacklisted, like companies or any ETFs
Do
where you're
not
like, I
trade
just
list.
don't trade that? And that's for all of us. Like everybody kind of has those things, right? Our PTSD. Somebody says Ford, F, Tesla, Disney for Sky. Sky is
AMD.
AMD,
Sky said Disney, and I'm
AMD.
actually looking at
Nvidia,
Disney.
Nvidia.
What? NVIDIA, really, you guys?
Yo,
Oh,
Circle.
Like,
I took a trade with Circle, like it did terrible. That and like ASST, like 3, 4 months ago, terrible. We have somebody in the
Kendra, can
community.
you pull up Disney?
Yeah, we could take a
sure.
Disney here. Let's take a look at Disney here together.
It's
Yes.
got a gap right there that I'm looking at. Short term, put 110, but to the upside, 115 for January looks nice.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, and when's the next time they report earnings?
Not till February.
We
February.
got a minute.
Yeah, like she said, going into January, you guys should start to catch some of that earnings run up. Somebody doesn't trade AT&T and Cupid
Yeah,
and
I don't touch
Nike.
AT&T no
Yeah,
more.
I don't trade AT&T
I
either.
don't like them either. But the Disney play is for somebody who doesn't have time to day trade. This is a soft
Mm-hmm.
swing, very low theta, a decent premium, and you're not gonna get a fast move. It's not gonna be your home run play, but it is gonna get you on base 20-30%. Put some money there like a savings account, and then in January cash out or
Ooh,
before that.
ooh, great work, Chaz. Chaz is one of our analysts. I would say too, she's our, probably, yeah, one of our lead
One of our
educators.
least, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely one of the lead educators here. We do have full-time educators on staff with us, guys. I'm not gonna lie, you guys could, if you're serious about learning the market, you could get a class in with us like 24 hours a day, 7 day a week. Like somebody will be there to assist you and to work with you guys. Shout out to the team.
Yeah, and Chaz is very patient, very beginner friendly. So
Beginner
if
friendly, right?
you definitely,
I
Chaz
if you
just
guys
dropped my
only,
need help.
email. If you email me and say tax in the email, I'll give the first 10 people 50% off one-on-ones. One-on-ones are $100. You get them for 50, but you gotta email me tonight. I'm not doing it all week, like tonight.
yes, guys, get on her schedule, please. Get on her
That's
schedule,
for sure. Can
please.
you drop your email in the chat, Chaz?
I just did.
Okay,
I
cool.
dropped the email.
Perfect.
Just email me text and say I want a one-on-one 50% off. First 10 people, I'll send you the pay link and the code. Just put tax in there. I'll get you in this week. I'll get you in before Christmas on a one-on-one.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, Avgo still kind of bearish on it. Things might change here. It's still not all the way exhausted, but I'm still bearish on Avgo as well. I was looking at this earlier.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. We
Um,
said call. Guys, you said calls on Disney, correct? Somebody text me.
Short term put, if they don't hold 111, I'm not looking at my chart, but I think 111, if that breaks, we might see a short term put to 110. But for the long swing on a call, 115. I think it's like 143 for
Gotcha.
January 16th.
Thank you. Thank you. Avgo, what are institutions buying? Shh. If you guys can bring up, if you would like, we can take a look at another chart. Trying to think of a time. Options chain. Excuse me, guys. An options chain. If you guys want, we can look at the Avgo options chain. A lot of open interest and volume on the 400 calls going into the end of this week. If you guys want to do that, and if we want, Kendra, we can bring up the Broadcom or Avgo chart here. Let's see if I-
yeah, 1 second. Okay, you guys don't be mad at me, but tomorrow I might not be signaling nothing. And if I do, it's a swing.
Oh, yo,
I
she'll say,
gotta I gotta do something in the morning, so I don't know what my afternoon what it's gonna look like. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, we'll get something good this
let's
week.
get the
About
word.
7 other people. If y'all miss Kendra, it's 7, 8, 9, 10 other people that
Yeah,
y'all gonna be
hell,
okay.
you can catch
Yeah.
something in the social chat, like
Yeah, I'm
Nah, the
not just in
member
the
play
members.
bangers
ideas.
everywhere. Rich and them and the members trader,
Yeah.
yeah, L
They've been
dropping
going
bangers.
crazy.
Sky just bangers all day. Is definitely just you'll be inundated with trades. There's really something for everyone in every account size, every trading strategy, every schedule. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's see, let's see. So look at this. We got a 3-2-2-1-7 on SIR. Um, I really like those 6 hour charts.
I do too.
4 hours
I
too,
do too.
30-minute charts, all of the things.
That's my new thing. Like I like the 6 more than
Mhm.
a 4 right now.
If you guys are near a computer, take a look at the 390 calls for this week and the $400 calls for this week, and just look at the volume there and the open interest from previous sessions. Lots and lots of order flow.
Yeah, I believe it. I had the R. That's the reason why I had the RSI on here. I took it off, but I was actually looking at it on Avgo to see if we were about exhausted here. Let me see. There we go.
But even those 357.50s for this week look really, really good as well.
See. Yeah, we kind of
Yeah,
flatlined.
you can see even there, it's a little bit underbought on the 30.
Yeah, for sure.
This is gonna be a nice trade. Yeah, we look at the 6 hours for swings and then kind of just to get an idea of like broad market sentiment. Um, and if you're a person who trades the strat, it works really well with the strat. Let's see who's bullish going into the week. Who else? So I'll be posting this here. I'll drop something in the chat for you guys really quickly.
I was looking at Nike.
Nike too. This is something I like to look at, guys. Especially on Sunday evenings. I'm looking at stocks that have a bullish engulfing and a bearish engulfing going into the week.
What you gonna show them bar chart?
Yeah, we can take a look at that together really quickly and kind of sort that. Everything when I'm trading, guys, I'm sorting everything by volume to kind of see. I don't see anything I love with a bullish engulfing. Are there any specific candlestick formations that you guys like to trade or that you look for?
Mm.
You can talk to me in the chat. Let's see. A lot of companies with bearish engulfings. NVIDIA being one of them. You can take a look at this here together really briefly. Perfect. So we have NVIDIA. Kendra, can we look at the NVIDIA chart on a daily?
Yeah.
Terrible thing.
Yeah. We're at a key area, one of my zones. So it could bounce here, or we could pull back somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me see. What time frame is that?
This is the 6 daily. This is the daily right here.
Daily, I'm definitely bearish, especially if we drop below this 175 level and
Mm-hmm.
hold there, and we'll make a move to 170. So we might be looking at 170 NVIDIA puts near the open tomorrow. And we'll also be looking for, if it drops to take the broad market kind of down with it. Let's take a look at this. Let me show you guys something we always look at, something I would have you guys kind of familiarize yourself with and get really comfortable with. Kendra, can we take a look at etfdatabase.com? This is something we go over with our mentees, and I posted it in the chat here for you guys. Uh, well, let's look at the QQQ here, guys. You'll hit the hourglass, the microscope looking thing. And we'll type in QQQ there. If you guys are looking to get into some homework, here's some easy homework for you. And we'll take a look at the holdings. Okay, perfect. We can see here where NVIDIA comprises about 9% of the QQQ, a little bit over 9%. So fair to say, even just from looking at this here together really quickly, mentees know this, right? If NVIDIA, Apple, and Microsoft are red, the broad market is going to move down. So we, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times too, when we're trading, guys, we're trading QQQ or we're trading the SPY, we'll also be watching these individual companies here to see if any of them are holding up in the down market or are breaking down when the market is up to kind of give us an idea of what to look for, especially when we're day trading. Can we do the same thing for SPY really quickly, Kendra? We'll start to wrap up here soon. Take a look at American Airlines together, and then we'll start our trading week. Once again, I thank you all for being here. Oh, I'm messing up. Let me see. Oh, it's my pleasure. You guys are very welcome.